I should die before I wake. I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Hello there, folks. My name is Ted, and you're watching TedTV. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to today's show, and I hope you'll continue to watch my show and support me and subscribe. Today, I think we have a really powerful, interesting show. I mean, I just had to get this information out to you, seeing as how it's Easter weekend, and we got the third blood moon and the Tetra happening. So, but this topic I want to talk about today is the mystery of the shemitah. Now, that's probably, I mean, I haven't even known about that for very long either, but apparently the shemitah is, it's a powerful, universal force, a universal law, and it's a God-given, God-created, all-powerful, yeah, it's like a universal law. And these shemitahs happen like clockwork every 7 years, and it's usually right to the date, to the hour. They're very, very accurate. These shemitahs have been going on, they've been occurring for like 3,000 years now, since like 800 AD, you know, 800 AD before Christ, and they're a continual force, a continual sequence, and it doesn't stop. It's right on like clockwork. So we have this powerful force, and it's a God-given force. It's not anything to do with man-made occurrences, even though the Illuminati they're still messing things up financially real bad, but they really cannot control the Shmita cycles. That's a universal God-given creation. So originally, I mean, the shemitahs back in the ancient times, God Almighty and Christ stated that, you know, it was a blessing. Every 7 years, you will have a blessing. You will reap the rewards of the land and the, you know, the food, and you'll be blessed financially, and you can clean up your finances and eliminate your debts and get the economy, you know, back on track, and everything will be running good, provided, I mean, it was a blessing, and the Lord said to the Israelites that you can have unlimited blessings if you follow my laws, and every 7 years I will bless you with this shemitah, and it'll be good for the people and the land, and you can reap the blessings. But I mean, that's provided it was a God, you know, a God-abiding nation. Now, if the nation turns its back on God and went against all the rules of God, then the shemitah becomes a judgment on the people, on the country, and in some cases it could even be a curse on the people and the country. Now we're in the last 7-year cycle. Now the cycle that we're ending, it's ending September 13th, I believe. September 13th, 2015 is the end of the 7th cycle. So we've had 7 times 7 in the last 49. 7 times 7 equals 49 years, which brings us up to, yeah, September, middle of September this year. The last 7 cycles have been responsible for the most horrific, I mean, all the most horrific crashes, financial crashes, I'd say from, you know, in the last 50 years. You know, the stock market crashes, the bond market crashes, and, you know, the financial markets. The last crashes have been, let's take 73 and the crash of 1980, and the biggie, the crash of 1987. and the crash of 2001 after the September 11 terrorist attacks. You notice they're all exactly 7 years apart, and they're usually always in September. September is the worst month out of all our months for stock market crashes. And every 7 years there's a major stock market crash. And you can count them all the way back, and it's true. You know, 2008 was the last really super crash that we had. That's 7 years ago, right? It will be 7 years on this September 2015. It'll be exactly 7 years since the global meltdown in September of 2008. So this is occurring like, it's so accurate. I mean, it doesn't stop. It's a continual 7-year cycle. This cycle, 7 times 7, the 7 shemitah, brings on what they call a jubilee year, or a trumpet blast, which is, they say a jubilee year, the end of the 7 times 7, is something like, they even call it sometimes a super shemitah. So what will this final cycle be like on September 13th, 2015? I mean, what will this bring? What will this bring forth to our nation? Because I'm telling you, you look around everywhere, and we've completely turned our backs on God. We've turned away from Him. We've turned our backs on Him. We just do. We make our own laws. We don't observe any commandments, any laws of God. We took prayer out of school way back in 1963. That's when it really started to turn away from God. And we're just so far away from God morally. Homosexual marriages, just continual non-stop, you know, homosexuality, immorality, promiscuity, you know, pornography, sexual deviance, having, you know, it's just on and on and on. We're just so far away from God. And, you know, I think that He's going to judge us on this cycle too. He's going to really judge us this time. You know, I mean, we're not a God-seeking nation. I did have a dollar bill, and I don't know where it is. Oh, it's in the other shirt. I'm going to show you that pyramid on the back of our dollar bill. I mean, yeah, you got to ask yourself, what the heck is that thing doing on our dollar bill? I mean, it's such evil looking. So it's the Eye of Horus on the top, the all-seeing eye, and we have these little captions on the dollar. It always says, "In God we trust." But what God is that? I mean, that, I'll tell you, that's not the Yahweh God of the King James Bible. In God, that's the God of the Illuminati, which is Lucifer. That's the God they worship. That's the God, that's their God in Washington, D.C. That's their God that's of choice, you know. It's Lucifer. So, you know, not the true God. But we've turned away. The point is, we turned away from God so bad, and I think that He will bring His final judgments upon us. So here we come. We're coming up to September, which is, you know, 5.5 months away. So could this be it, folks? Because there's a prophecy here in the mysterious shemitah. And it's a prophecy of the Jewish Tanakh. It says specifically that 65 years after the last blood moon tetra, okay, 65 years after the last blood moon tetra, and the last blood moon tetra ended September 26th, 1950. So this prophecy is saying 65 years after that, America will be shattered and broken to pieces as a nation. So 65 years after September 1950 brings us to September 2015. You know, so the prophecy is saying that 65 years after that, September 2015, God will pour out His wrath. America could be or will be shattered and broken to pieces as a nation. You know, so this is so, you know, what I'll just conclude to say: will the United States of America begin its total self-destruction this September in 5 months. You know, I'm going to say I'm 90% sure there'll be a horrific stock market and financial collapse. I mean, I'm putting myself on the line. I feel that there's going to be a terrific stock market collapse, even worse than 2008. And there could be. This is a really good chance of a U.S. dollar collapse as the world's reserve currency, and our nation will be reduced to a third world status. Oh, quickly too. It could be in a matter of days. So this is what I feel that is going to happen in September of this year. That horrific stock market collapse, possibly a U.S. dollar collapse, as no longer world reserve currency status. And of course, if we have those two collapses, we're certainly going to have social collapse and chaos. So that's a whole other story. So anyway, that's all I have to touch upon today. Think about this over the Easter weekend and have a blessed Easter weekend. Thank you.